in, everybody? We're halfway through day 2. I'm replacing Tyler, but still here. Got more games coming your way. We're going to be getting here with Wildcard Aces taking on 774. And we saw these teams a little bit yesterday. We got to see a little bit of their action so far, and I think it's really interesting to kind of watch Wildcard and how they're bouncing back after Element, some of the changes they've made. And all the fans that are in the chat for 774, I had to get my Google Translate out and try and talk to you guys and figure out, hey, what's the story like over in Canada? But it should be a fun game. I don't even know the map, Goose. I've been trying to get logged in here, so I'm just going to leave it for a surprise. I'll let you hold all the knowledge.
Oh, I don't even know. I don't know. I didn't know.
You don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. So it's gonna be a surprise for me too. And I think this game, as an entirety, is gonna be a surprise. 774 obviously, is going to be a team that is a little bit unknown. A 50% defensive rate and a 33% attacking rate is not the worst. It's below average in my opinion. I'd prefer more of a 33%, but it's run of the mill. Especially, I think you can really just look at this team: Coco, Quads, Zach, Ticey, and Firemeister. It is just run-of-the-mill T4, T3 team. And again, best of ones. They are the perfect opportunity, especially against a team that is trying a little bit of new things.
Yeah, they ended up losing 7-5 against Punk yesterday. That's a game that you're going against a lot of decent teams here in Xenon. You guys talked about before you came off air about the top 3 teams, right? Coming into this, you got SSGA, Fluffy Aimers, Makers, and you even have Aerial Rise. Wildcard obviously is another team, but Unk is a team you might try to get a win. They played them close. It is a heartbreaker on Clubhouse. But speaking of Clubhouse, let's go ahead and actually take a look at our Wildcard roster. They were able to defeat Aerial yesterday on that same map, and that's impressive considering what Aerial has been doing in their recent form. And this new look for this Wildcard team, who's really standing out for you, Goose, on this roster?
I wouldn't necessarily say he's, a standout player in the traditional sense, of being that entry player, but Ozone is making a little bit of a reappearance, a comeback, was in Element 1, I believe, might have been in Element 2 also on, one of those older rosters, but, he's that player that brings, not necessarily a lot of experience, but a lot of just, backbone to a team. He can IGL, and, if you look at the stats, 83% on attack is crazy, and then you have a below average for defense. I'm assuming a little bit of these stats are skewed from the Aerial Arise game. I'm curious to see if we're gonna go to Clubhouse. I think if you're Wildcard Aces, your main goal is to go to Clubhouse. Just having success against Aerial Arise is exactly what you want to do. And I called it like a book.
774 might feel a little bit comfortable. They played a close game there yesterday. Maybe they made some adjustments. But that attacking win rate that we saw from Wildcard Aces, that's going to be a big factor going throughout this one. We're also going to be still seeing that substitution from Dame coming in for Melted. And Melted's a Canadian. That would have been kind of a fun matchup to watch it. Melted take on these guys. But nonetheless, I think you have to favor Wildcard Aces, Goose. I don't know if you would agree with me on that one, especially with that attacking win rate. But 774 must feel confident. They probably looked at that score yesterday. They lost on it yesterday. They must know something, some sort of adjustment they want to make. So they probably got something up their sleeve, Gambit style.
I love that. And, to be fair, I agree. I think 774 bringing us to Clubhouse, it's an even matchup. You can have a team have great success, but it's Clubhouse. It's going to be, I wouldn't necessarily an even playground. I do think Wildcard Aces on all sides of the table have the advantage, and not only that, but they're on the come up. They're really feeling that momentum. They found success against a really hot team that is finding themselves a little bit rebuilding. And so I think after finding that stride, after finding that success, they can really apply it to any teams, especially a team that's a lower echelon team compared to Aerial Rise.
And as we head into this Clubhouse game, 774, you want to start to kind of make a name for yourself. I saw some people in this chat here going, hey, it's so nice to hear just the name being called. Like it was awesome for them to just be having happy It's just like, hey, we're losing, but you know what? We're getting calls, we're making plays, we're showing up. Now, if you can start to take a win, you can really start to make some waves into this game. And I think that's the next step, is just make some upsets, maybe play a spoiler, maybe making playoffs, and what have you.
And yeah, going into this matchup, not to be mean or anything, but we don't exactly know what 774 can do. A lot of times with these, T3 leagues, you'll have players that are, contrary to a lot of beliefs, just not that well known. Compared against teams like WILDCARD ACES, but this is a chance for them to make a name for themselves. And not only that, I say this time and time after again, it's a best of one. Anything can happen. If you can find that success and snowball it into a repeated pattern and continue to expose those gaps that WILDCARD ACES continue to have, it's possible. But the problem is, not only are you going up against a team that is better than you, but you're going up against a better team that is probably at their highest ceiling they've been in a while, coming off of a very hot win against a previous Element 3 team.
So if you are not currently familiar with how you qualify for playoffs, the top 3 teams, there's 2 groups.
Yeah.
And the top 3 teams in these groups of 7 will automatically qualify. They go through. This is Group B that we're currently looking at. And then the 4th and 5th place, they will go to a last chance qualifier. 4 teams will make it out of our 2 groups. Looking at this Group B, you've got Thrive, WILDCARD ACES, Aerial Rise, Karn & Co. I think you can disagree with me if you want. Those are going to be the 4 competing for that top 3. And then that last spot is going to be up between Unks, Chocket, and 774. So that's going to be where the real battle is. And 774 already has a leg down, so they're going to really have to start making some upsets.
Yeah, 100%. And this is the opportunity simply for 774 to potentially get on the board. We already know that WILDCARD ACES have a win, and 774 isn't exactly a team that if they don't make top 3, it's not a failure. If you can aim in my opinion, what they should aim for is that play-in spot. And you go into a single elimination play-in, which is, again, a perfect opportunity to set up teams. So even if they lose today, if they have a convincing fashion, if they get that really good game day rep, if they can find a formula that leads to success that they can apply to other teams like WILDCARD ACES did in their match previously, I think it would be all the better.
Looking at this Group A too, I feel like it's a little bit softer, and I guess it's kind of a pun intended, because you got Fluffy Aimers in there, Makers, SSGA. That's a solid 3. And then you've got 4 teams that aren't, the bottom of the barrel, but they're all kind of relatively there. They're like one step away from entering that top echelon of that T2 scene. I don't know. It's interesting. I think Group A is a little bit more even, and Group B has like some really top teams. And then there's a little bit more of a gap, I feel like, in Group B.
Yeah, Group A is just the death group. It is the group you don't want to be in. So I think 774 compared to Makers, SSG Academy, and Fluffy Aimers, they have a much better chance. They're in a much better position. And the game that they lost previously was a 7-5 loss. It's not like they got completely blown out of the water. So going into this matchup, they're the underdog. I think that is more than obvious to others, but I don't think we should write them off. I think they have more than a better chance, but they simply just have to find their stride. And with these bans, nothing too crazy is going to be coming off, and that's exactly what 774 need. They need that consistency. They need to be comfortable, and looking from these bans, we're not seeing anything that should throw them off too much.
Yeah, and we obviously have information on what these teams like to do on the clubhouse. Both teams playing yesterday. I don't really see any counter banning. These all seem pretty standard. Nothing that's eye-opening, like you said. So it's all to play for in our best of 1 here on day 2 of the XGS season 7. 774 is the underdogs, and it looks like we're gonna have a tech pause here while we wait these things out.
Teddy didn't set up his pause.
It's an uphill battle, considering, ironically, when you're the team in the north, you think you would have the higher ground. But this WILDCARD ACES team, man, let's recap their journey. They kind of get embarrassed in Element, in a sense. I don't think they lived up to their expectations. They do a roster change, and then they get a big win over Aerial Arise after they made some waves in Blitz Gaming. And it's interesting, you've got 4 teams that are going to try and get this top 3 here. And with that win, I think Wildcard Aces has all the belief in the system that they can go on, not only get top 3, but go the distance.
Yeah, I agree 100%. And with teams like Wildcard, and especially we have teams like Card and Co, where it's like we don't know what's happening. We don't know if that
They're kind of an X factor
7-0
there.
yesterday was just one of those one-off days, or if they're going to continue to spiral out. So Wildcard getting this ace not only puts them in the top 3, but then they can go on to really go for just getting a better seed, getting a better round differential, continuing to close these games out in relatively convincing fashion, so they have a better chance, more success, put themselves in a better position going in the playoffs. And I think for Wildcard Aces, going to Clubhouse back-to-back is really good, because if you do have teams that they potentially will have to face in playoffs, like Makers, they're not going to be able to do that much homework because they've only played essentially a couple of maps.
Wildcard Aces begin their defense on the basement side in the blue. Our Quebec team 774 on the attack in the orange. We're going to be seeing a blitz being brought out. Will there be any shenanigans coming the way of Coco? The Dame, he's also has a little party trick. Waiting in secret, he might be able to jump out and get a kill. He's just holding there. A very aggressive early defense from Wildcard Aces. They've got some players on the second floor. It looks like they might try to play an extended defense and then maybe retreat if something happens.
Wildcard Aces, especially with us going back to that 6-6 format, are going to be in a really definitely comfortable position. With the opening pick, getting rid of that Azami, that's so much utility now off the board. But Dame, he doesn't want to fall off. Trying to get back a pick, potentially put his team in a better position. A 7-7-4, they're doing a great job of playing off, not over-aggressing and giving too much away.
I thought Dame almost got cut off there, but no, he does have access to those stairs to retreat blue, but he's still holding his position. It looks like there's a bit of a collapse starting to come through. You can see Coco, he's got a player outside of Secret that's maybe willing to pinch with him, but Dame's just going to back up on that Legion. Coco's still trying to take some space. Minute 50, 7-7-4 has the advantage, but on this bunker site, kind of just batten down the hatches and just wait for the inevitable push that's going to happen. Vertical play coming in through from Meister. He's trying to figure out where his prey is as he hunts from above. The Kaid Tubrow maybe delayed sometime. We didn't really get to see it. But the kitchen hatch is open where the main priority of this attack is going to be focused. Croc still waiting in church. Minute 20 on the clock. They've got this moto hatch unlocked though.
Simply just trying to find a way into the map. Teddy almost losing his life there. And 7-7-4 having a little bit of difficulty finding a consistent way into the bomb site, but with that kill onto Teddy, that is their avenue. This is their way into the bomb site and to potentially shut down these last 3 defenders.
Ooh, dig a tunnel before the hyenas come. Lion King style, they're coming. It's the king of the jungle. It's the alpha predator. And it looks like 7-7-4 trying to assert their early dominance. Dame gonna swing out, find 1, get 2. He is still being a thorn over towards blue side, and now it's a 2v2. But site control has gone the way of 7-7-4, but the diffuser, however, is not their way. Oh, and Dame is still kicking and fighting. Now on for a quad, but Coco, meanwhile, trying to take this fight over towards Church. He's only got a pistol. He still has some charges in that shield. Here comes the push. He's chasing this target down. He says, get over here. He is still finding him, but it's a sprint race. The Olympics are over, my friend. The track and field is done. This is Rainbow Six Siege. Where are you going? He's leaving him, and Coco, he's got to get the diffuser. There's so much to do, but the time is going to be a big factor. The chase away, and Dame is going to get that 4th kill for him. But it was just a game of cat and mouse, and 7-7-4 off to a great start.
Yeah, that was just a really good start. After losing that man, 7-7-4 in that mid-round, transitioning into just having complete control of those top 2 floors. You saw there was not a roamer applying pressure on that top floor. It allowed the 7-7-4 to really just run away, just do whatever they wanted to set up that actual execute, but then they started to waste their own time, and it didn't really decide on one push, one avenue in the site, being paired with the difficulty of not being able to get that moto hatch open. They really had that problem of just not being able to problem solve. And going into this round, a second round on this attack, they really just need to solve that. They had a great opener, getting that entry pick, having it completely untraded, and on top of that, killing the Ella just in a really isolated
Oh my goodness,
way.
what is that?
Talk about a pixel angle. They just really need to work on that transition and just not wasting enough time following that pickup and just really hammering down this attack.
Yeah, 774. I mean, they were just so close to getting that one done. I thought they had it there, and it looks good, but it was heroics from Dame, and the awareness to just know that the clock is on your side. You just got to run away. And it felt like they were a little disconnected there. You had a player in church, you had a player in blue, and the team wasn't really working together. It's a missed opportunity for 774, unfortunately, but you've got to take the positives out of that one. That was a good start. Wildcard Aces, though, they survived the defense, and now we head towards gym site. Nothing really is grabbing my eye in terms of the operator selections for either of these teams, but still we're seeing that blitz. It seems like 774 is trying to rely on these trick plays from Coco.
Simply just trying to get these walls open, trying to deal with these problem players over by pick. Cash. Ticey gets another first pick, the second followed up by another. This trend of 774 just shutting down these entry players continues, but they need to actually convert it, almost getting another one onto Kronk.
Yeah, he's almost able to snap onto that player that hopped out of the site window. But Dame is down, and that's the big player for Wildcard Aces in the previous round, so his impact will no longer be felt on the second defense. But still, it's a cash push so far from 774, and it looks like El Jefe has something waiting. Ozone is just looking for this player that's got to push through cash. It's starting to come to a little bit of a slowing start here. Firemeister's going to open this one right back on. Ozone's going to drop. Still, 2 players remain for Wildcard Aces, and this is something that 774 have to capitalize on now. They had a good position on that last round. This one, a much, much better look. But now they're going to get Kronk to drop as well. Teddy's does find Meister, but Zach with the trade. Good bounce back around there from 774. They were a little bit more consistent after that first pick, able to slow it down and get their latter stage plan down to a T much better on that than that first attack.
Even with that first round win for Wildcard Aces, they now have a consistent trend with these first 2 rounds, losing a first entry pick, then losing yet another, not only being unable to trade the first, but also losing another player. And sure, the round count is only 1-1. You did win the very first, but if this continues to be a problem, it will snowball, and eventually they're not going to have those rounds where a player like Dame is going to be in a position to just shut down that push. This is a problem that they're going to have to fix. Not only fix, but fix it quickly, because 774, not only have they identified a pattern to continue to replicate getting those first 2 picks untraded, but also they found a way to just continue the steamroll, continue to get those picks without them being untraded, continue to have that control on the map. And if Wildcard Aces can't find a fix for that problem, it's going to continue to punish them. They're going to continue to lose these defending rounds.
Wildcard Aces, they're feeling some pressure from the 774 team. This is a good opportunity for them to really capitalize on this attack. Remember, folks, we are under the 6-6 rules. Kind of switches between whatever scene you watch. This is the more traditional way here in the XGS. Coco, once again on that blitz. Break down that zombie barrier. In 774, what I like is they're able to switch paces on a dime. They can go from fast to slow. And we're starting to see a little bit of that slow pace right now, Goose.
Yeah, and that is a little bit of a problem. Ooh. And again, the very first pick on Ticey is going to be engaged, but this time around, Wildcard Aces, they've broken that trend, finally winning the opening pick. And on top of that, removing such a crucial player, not only on the entry pick board, but also getting rid of that ace. Wildcard Aces, unable to trade that player back, are going to be in a really difficult position, and for now will not have an answer back to clear this cash position.
And Quaz was so close on that basement pinch. As soon as he gets there, Kronk retreats to red, and that was really tough, because if it was a little bit slower, maybe if Kronk doesn't chow that as quickly as he did, Quaz might have been able to get the cutoff, but 774 now down a man. But as I say, that Zach will get the trade. Oh my goodness, a lot of pressure coming onto Repas, and it's going to cost him his life. It's now just in favor of 774, so what looked to be a poor start has immediately flipped the way of our Canadian team. Can they get into sight is the next question. Firemeister with the diffuser in his pocket. A minute on the clock. 774 doing their due diligence, doing their drone work. What can they find out? Looks like Repas might be having some ping issues as he's typing in chat. Well, he's in spawn, buddy. Hopefully your teammates can avenge your internet. Still, come to a little bit of a slow here. Teddy, watching that condor. Still super slow. 774. The time is not going to be on their favor, but with that blitz, you only need really 20 seconds, and boom, bam, pop, sizzle, you're in. And it looks like, as I say that, out to manifested Coco about to make his play, pushing up towards that Logi breach. Still, as soon as he hops that, that's going to be the time to go. Oh, Quaz has got a kill, but he's going to be immediately traded out. And the blitz, meanwhile, surprise, surprise, Coco gets the kill, and now it's all down in a 1v3. Teddy has a lot of work to do trying to get the toes of the blitz player. Beautiful execute from 774. Little chaos happens. The blitz comes through, and after 3 rounds, 774 has lead, and we are still going to be on those same sides like I mentioned earlier. And boy, oh boy, I mean, we saw this a little bit yesterday with Aerial Arise. Wildcard Aces is a better team on attack. So yeah, you're going to have to worry about that second half, what's going to happen. It looks like Repas' internet might be getting a little bit of a reset here as we're going to go into a tech pause. So you do have to keep that in the back of your mind, Goose. Wildcard Aces is better on attack from those stats we saw yesterday. 774, they look impressive right now.
I think impressive is the exact word. You know, I talked about how Wildcard, they needed to break the trend. Of course, Repas in that top red position just clearly did not move. He had ping issues. And the question is, for me though, because that is a very important and specific position that 774 needed to get rid of. If he was able to, whether it was fall back or kill a player and lose his life, could 774 trade back? The good thing, though, is even though they did lose the first opening pick, ignoring that player disconnecting, they were able to regroup, get the pick, answer back, and then eventually find a way to pressure those players in cash and top red out and get that control. Even though they took a little bit long in that transfer from getting cash into actually attacking on the site, wasting 30 seconds from just completely standing still, using their drones to get more intel, they eventually did use that utility, that intel, to their full advantage.
To this tech pause, and maybe that internet is starting to play a little bit of a factor, but I think if you're looking back at that first map, that was kind of a missed opportunity to go 3-0 for 774, and that would have really put the pressure on this Wildcard Aces team. And I think in the back of your mind, you got to be thinking like, okay, what is this internet looking like for Repas? Because maybe if you can fix it, Wildcard Aces can show a little bit more on their defense, but still, I think you just got to come out of it manageable for Wildcard Aces. Make it 4-2, a little bit breathable. I think 3-3 would be ideal for these guys. 7-7-4. If they can have a 5-1 half, that would be oh so massive coming out against this star-studded attack on this map for Wildcard Aces. So how much can Wildcard Aces save, try and bank on their offense is going to be the big question for this first half.
Yeah, I think a big question is can they get Repas in a consistent position without that ping? It sure is just one player, but if they continue to put him in these very not exactly responsible, but these very powerful positions that he needs to be active. He needs to be moving around. He needs to relay the information to his teammates. And playing the Vigil, he's going to continue to hold that role. If he's able to fix that problem, I'm sure Wildcard Aces will just have a plethora of a better time. I think losing that red player was the breaking point for that round for Wildcard Aces. And I think going back to this site, learning the information that they had previously, they can approach it much better, and especially if they can get a better opening round, not losing 2 opening picks untraded. Not on top of that, they just simply need to waste time, and we've seen that 774 have a little bit of difficulty actually executing onto the site. A factor of them wasting time is going to continue to happen.
A lot of traps coming out from Wildcard Aces. It's Trap City. You've got the Elamine, you've got the Capcan, you've got the Legion. Watch where you step, our fellow Quebec friends, because it is going to be a deathly demise if you don't. And I think that's trying to bring out a counter for Coco and stop him from having anything. But Quaz, he's going to fall, and that's really your only roam clear for 774. So now you're kind of also walking in blind of where these players are, so you got to try and figure out where these guys are. You got to watch for traps that could be any which way. However, Dame is going to drop Ticey, finding the first pick for 774.
It's a really dangerous position that Ticey continues to put himself in these opening engagements. Not only because he is that hard breach player, but if you look at the overall lineup, aside from the Maverick and maybe the Buck with the canisters, there's not a whole lot. And he's going to lose his life for playing aggressive. Not only playing aggressive, no one droned him in, didn't have a player around him to refrag, and they didn't have control of Lounge, so they were not able to get the kill back onto Kronk. Fire, though, has worked his way through down to the basement. Kronk does get yet another. It's very questionable why these players are isolated.
And it looks like Firemeister's kind of slipped the net. They weren't expecting him to be over towards the main stairs. Coco also in towards site, but once again, as they had that problem on the last site, they don't have the diffuser. But now it's a 2v2. It's all actually going to come down to Firemeister, and they know where he is over towards these main stairs. If they know where the diffuser is, Meister's going to have to go in reposition for that. Still, there's some good time on the clock. He also has the buck. Maybe he can open up the floor and find someone with a little bit of surprise. Kronk and Ozone left in a 2v1. Meister also does have a breaching charge, so he's going to be able to... Oh, he's just going to go straight for a drop. He's just going to immediately go down the Moto hatch. Do they know he's here? They obviously know this hatch has been open, but did they get a sound cue that he dropped? Oh, great shot from Meister, but he's been dropped down to 16 HP. Oh, and the wall bang from Ozone. Another clutch scenario from Wildcard Aces on the basement defensive side, this time in a 1v1 rather than the clock being the factor. And that was a massive round for Aces to grab. It's going to be a tied up here, but 7-7-4 last time. We're able to turn it up after that basement.
Yeah, a great answer back from Wildcard. Not only a great answer back, but they were really good at not only finding the gaps left from 7-7-4, just over-aggressing that entire round. You could really say a lot of these kills were just simply from players over-aggressing. A great play from Firemeister to try to work that man count back, even putting himself into a close 1v1. But the Blitz, it's just these players over-pushing, losing their life. For example, Ticey on the Habana, over-swinging, no drone, no supporting teammate to get the refrag, and lost his life completely untraded, and that forced a player like Firemeister to get over-aggressive, to overplay his position to try to compensate for losing that player. And if we continue to see these picks, we're going to continue to see 7-7-4 not only lose these opening engagements, but put themselves in worse and worse positions going into that site execute.
Looks like Wildcard prefers the hold over towards Cash. Teddy on this window here, maybe trying to catch somebody that goes for repel. Maybe has any sort of pressure over towards Secret or Stock. You got the Bandit there, so you might be able to trick it, keep that wall going for as long as possible. Nothing really is coming to my eye here in the operator selection, but Teddy, once again, he's been waiting towards Secret. Ticey was unaware of the danger, and that is his 4th death. He's been dying every round, and you kind of mentioned in the previous one, he plays very aggressive, and he gets caught out sometimes. Once again, case in point.
This time around, the main hard-to-reach operator will not be in the possession of Tai Sidu. Simply will lose the Candelas, the utility on Zofia, and including that gun and that entry player will now be gone. But they're still going to have this Maverick. They're still going to have the Buck to potentially get this wall open. I really like this play. You know, not really having to play into that bandit trick, being able to completely just circumvent that entire player, that entire strat. And they can get this wall up convincingly, but they still have to clear these power positions over by Master, get control of Raptors, and they do have the utility. They have the Capital, they have the Flores to potentially push them out, but if we've seen Wildcard Aces time and time again, they love to be stubborn. They love to continue to hold and make 7-7 work for every position that they want, but eventually, Coco does find the refrag onto Repus.
And that's kind of been the story so far, is Wildcard Aces, when they go a man up, 7-7-4 somehow finds a way, but Kronk right back at the window. It's the window of death as Kronk looks and finds his target, but once again, Firemeister pulling his team back into this one. It's now 3-3. Minute 10 on the clock. 7-7-4 make any sort of movement in towards site. Meister, he has been the player to watch so far. Got 7 kills to his name. But still, it's the point slow. That they're waiting for things. They don't have the blitz this round. Coco ended up going for the Maverick this time. I think he thinks someone's towards oil. Has there been a call? There is a player. Someone towards blue. But he actually had to back all the way up. It's kind of like a temporary 2v3 in a sense, but there's some phantom pressure. They still are so worried about that player down below. There's now 30 seconds left. Was plays. Kronk, he's been switching between Secret, he's been warming around downstairs, and they're still just trying to deal with this guy. As much time as he can delay, the better. We're 7-7-4. Teddy's also going to get a kill as well. Surely, this is a defensive win for Wildcard Aces. Ozone has now come down to help out. He's going to get the trade. Kronk doing so much work from downstairs, all down to Meister. He is in sight. But once again, he doesn't have the diffuser. He's going to have to make a play over towards red stairs. He gets his opponent one. It wouldn't have mattered too much if he got that kill. The time was going to be the factor. And Wildcard Aces, their aggressive plays over towards Secret are going to get them the round win. 7-7-4, just a little indecisive.
I think the best way to compare Wildcard Aces defense to anything is like they're a whack-a-mole. I mean, every time you get control, for example, once that Maverick got control of Raptors in Garage, a player popped up out of nowhere, retaking the position top blue, running out, killing that player, then running his way down by oil and blue, forcing the entire team of 774 to address him, taking away, I guess you could say, the minds of the players, taking away the, I don't know the exact word for it, but, distracting them. Forcing them to address this player, and it wasted so much time. Every time that 774 gets a control of a certain point of the map, a Wildcard Aces player retakes a different point, giving them problem after problem, and they can never really solve that solution of getting the map control.
And I love the discipline from Kronk. He gets that kill at the window, and then he kind of just holds Secret and roams blue a little bit. But 774, I guess your game plan was like, let's just kind of bait this. Maybe he'll push in, but Kronk just held his position, played the clock, and then made his impact towards the end of that one. Huge round from Kronk, sitting at 5-5, and there's another aggressive position from Teddy, this time all the way kind of over towards Strip, over by that side entrance, trying to find somebody on that spawn peak. Nothing's going to really show for it. However, 774 is going to get the opening kill. Zach this time finding Repus. Kronk also going to drop, so 774 has a good opportunity to capitalize on this round. Will that be the ghost sign? They're going to just try to push in. Oh, this is a tight angle! Ooh. And Firemeister threads the needle onto Ozone. It's now a 5v2, and he's in the chat as well. 9-3, this guy is unstoppable right now for the Canadians. Dame going to be dropped down to 47 HP. And the C4 is what's going to be the ultimate demise for Firemeister, but still, he's put his team into a great position for this round.
Yeah, really great position. Both players completely disconnected. Dame potentially looking to get a refrag, trying to backstab, flank, and shut down this push, but they're so close to the bomb site. And Teddy, he's all alone.
Teddy, he's trying to hunker down over towards Jim. He's now been dropped down to 42 HP. Do they know where one of these players is? Do they know where Dame is? Teddy dropped. Oh, they know where Dame is. He's got the warden glasses, so he's going to be able to dodge that flash. But in the end, there's just way too much to do. Zach hops the railing, gets the kill. And it's going to be 3-3. And I think if you're wildcard aces, you'll take that. That's unlucky for 7-7-4. Because they put themselves into multiple positions where they could have had a great advantage. And now we saw how good wildcard aces attack was last time. Let's see if they can continue rolling on with that.
Again, keep in mind, a 3-3 half on paper for Clubhouse is a win for the attack. But if you look at the stats from Wildcard's game yesterday, an 83% attacking rate versus a 40% below average defending rate, it's not really a problem, or at least it shouldn't be for Wildcard. Of course, 774 are a completely different team, but what we saw from yesterday, the attack shouldn't necessarily be a problem for Wildcard Aces, especially for how they play the defense, able to really pop their head up anywhere and retaking map control. That, in translation, should have success on the attack. But 774, after having a bad couple of rounds going down 3-2, they were able to recoup, find yet again another but different formula that led to success. And that's exactly what I've been saying, that 774 simply just need to find a formula that worked, and throughout the defense they found multiple.
I just feel so bad for, because there's multiple rounds where the game ended in time in those tight 1v1 scenarios, especially that first one. That was such a great start from 774. They were just unable to capitalize on it. Here we go. Wildcard Aces. They have themselves in a good position. They're able to show up against Aerial Rise on the attack. But whoa, Ticey gonna find the opening kill this time once again on the Reapus. The internet must be a big issue for him. 0-7. Only one assist to his name. He is on drone duty, watching all those flank cams. And I'm curious what his mental is also starting to look like in this situation. Oh, and the Bashi is gonna come into play. Kronk is gonna drop. So 774, they should be getting this round.
Yeah, that is a great start, and Zach playing in one of the most difficult positions you could possibly clear out, the strip side. And they don't have exactly a ping onto him, and they're going to necessarily decide if they want to try to clear him out early on, or just try to ignore him, try to cut him off as he tries to flank them. But because that diffuser is there, they are forced to aggressive. They're forced to remove him from this position. All Zach needs to do is just waste a little bit of time. If he could potentially even get a pick with it, that would be all the better.
Attackers have recovered their diffuser.
This is a stupendous position. Oh! 2 shots, 2 opportunities, and that's all you need with the Boss G for Zach. He's gonna be killed, but I think Teddy knows. Wait, did the lobby just did Teddy? Wait, what just happened? Did he give up? Did he just forfeit his life? Is there a tech issue?
He's back.
I mean, surely. I think that was just he forfeited his life. You had me going there. I'm like, what's going on here? But 774 should be getting that round. Oh, wait. What a freaking shot. That's probably going to be kill of the day, or 2 kills of the day.
Oh, I mean, just talk about a hero play from Zach. I talked about how he'd be lucky if he could get 1, but he did be 2 better. Getting a triple in the round and essentially ending the entire round. An entire round just happened in strip and ended in strip. And talk about a definitive opening round for the defense for 774. Wildcard Aces are going to leave that round with their heads scratched and questioning, what do we do next?
Yeah, that was a spit in the face there with the Boss G. If he would have gotten that final kill, I would have lost my marbles. Anyway, 774 on top. But for how long? The inevitable presence of that offense from Wildcard Aces is surely looming. We now head to the 2nd floor. We're going to be doing a gym site. Once again, I don't think nothing really surprising in the operator selections for both teams. But what can Wildcard maybe try to do? Get back into this one. And I don't know what we can expect from Reapus. We saw in the game chat that internet was starting to be an issue, and the kill feed surely shows that Can he find any sort of value for his team if he is having that internet issue still?
A relatively similar hold, aside from just one player removed on this defensive holdover by Cash and CC for 774. Zach playing so aggressive, just honestly using the sound, just potentially trying to find a pick, but he's being a little bit over aggressive, not having enough information. He's going to fall back. Coco also, and this is exactly the point in the map that Wildcard Aces want to deal with first. This is what they want to take for first. They're putting all of their focus on this one position, and they need to make sure that they start to clear it quickly because the time it's running out.
Ooh, Coco's been dropped to 18 HP, but they had such a heavy pressure over towards Cash, and now it's going to be a reach. Wait, what's this? Is there an army of people going towards the basement? What is there, like a movie theater down here that I forgot about? Am I not mistaken? Wow. Is there an army of ants that... Okay, it looks like Coco's gone back up. But Zach, he is making a heroic play, wrapping all the way through basement. Are there any flank cams? The Wildcard Aces, they have all 5 players up, so there's not really anybody that can sit on any cams, if there even is any. Oh, noise from below. That's going to alert Kronk to the dangers. Zach, is he going to find anything? Now he's the one who's trying to be the pain over towards Secret, and there comes the drone work. Did Kronk see his feet? I think he maybe got a sound cue as well, so Kronk now is aware of what's happening over towards his side. Oh, and he's being aggressive. He wants to get this player done with immediately. Zach, see you later, Alligator. 5v4 Wildcard Aces. We're now starting to see that offensive prowess that they have, but still 774 is kind of bunkered down over towards site. But Tyce's being backed up by the bees. Doesn't want to get stinged. Oh. What the heck? Yeah, this dude has to be lagging. Reapus just self-inflicted damage. We'll leave it at that. Gonna give 774 a lifeline back into this one. Teddy, however, is gonna rectify that. Gonna find Tyce. 30 seconds on the clock. Wildcard Aces, sure, they got the man advantage, but they've got to get in the site. They're gonna have the same issue that 774 had at the beginning. Coco watching the site doors. He is just a sliver away. All you need to do is put a bullet into his hip, and he will drop. 15 seconds left. There's the swing. Coco gets some shots, gets the knock, gets the kill. Times to swap on man advantage, but you got to get going. There's also a knock onto Dame, so it's going to swing right back for 774, but this time, it's just continuing to tick. The diffuser comes back, and they have it. Wait a second. What? Wildcard Aces won? There was 3 seconds on the clock. Why are you challenging? Oh, no. I don't think he knew that that player was there. Ozone clutches up. Oh, I mean, there was that inflected kill, Goose, that came in from Reapus, but another opportunity for 774 to get a win.
I would have to agree with Teddy there. Not specifically that 774 as a whole is dirty, but that entire round was just a big question mark. As soon as Wildcard Aces were able to push those 2 players out over by Cash back to the site, they did nothing. And on top of that, you had Zach make a long rotate all the way around the map, quite literally from one side to the other. And sure, that did waste a little bit of time, but just Wildcard Aces just moving a little bit too slow for my liking, but they're able to come out with that round win based off of the huge play by Ozone and with the smoke removing that line of sight, giving him an opening to get that control of Jim, eventually shutting down the round. But there's going to be rounds where you're not going to have that opportunity. And I want to see a better early, or rather opening round for Wildcard Aces, because it took them 2 minutes to get the very first opening pick.
I think another thing you got to look at is, let's wind back the clock to that first round. Dame had a 4-piece. He went absolutely large. He's 0-7 since that first round. I mean, 774 is making life for Wildcard Aces really difficult, as we're going to see some Cali sniping coming in from downtown, Steph Curry type range. But, I mean, Dame's got to get back into the game as well, but still, Wildcard Aces is hanging in this one.
Mute potentially looking to... I don't exactly know what he's trying to do here. I mean, trying to get the control.
Rather get blown to smithereens.
He's not going to be able to trick the wall because it's not how a mute works. So opening that wall is going to be able to push him back. And here is Reapus. It looks like his overall connectivity is fine, so he's going to be able to get complete control of Raptors. But Kiwaz goes down early. That's from the Cali.
Cali might have an angle, but Q on the floor. It's a temporary 4v5 in favor of Wildcard. Zach playing a little sneaky over towards Secret. I mean, it's in the name. people have been making all sorts of scary plays from that side of the map. So it looks like Q's going to be picked up, but Meister is going to eat Dame's bullets. And there's what you want to see from Dame. He's starting to find a way back into this one. So some good walls have been opened up. WILDCARD ACES taking their time. Whoa, Q is making a long rotation. What's going on here? He's going to make a punch hole. As he looks for that alley, it looks like. Ticey is going to find Gronk. 4v3, 3v2. Oh, blinking, he missed it. It's now going to go all in favor of 7-7 for Teddy and Repus. Left alone, but Q was kind of over towards Garage, so he's going to have to make a rotation. It's kind of a temporary 2v2 in a sense. Q is going to drop as he was trying to get back over, and a challenge onto Teddy is going to be successful. He's going to be put down onto the floor. Repus is in sight, but once again, no diffuser in hand. Trying to play this Mira. It has been punched out. Still, he's got to worry about multiple angles. I don't think he knows where the second player is. Ticey! That was a big round from Ticey as he's going to give 7-7-4 the lead.
Just a pivotal and very consistent 2v2 there, holding that cross. Mira just getting aggressive.
Some issues. Their defense hasn't been stellar, but their attack has been the focal point of this map. Or at least it was yesterday. Now kind of, they're struggling. They're there, but they're struggling. 7-7-4 has just been causing all sorts of pain. Ticey and Zach, to be precise, and Meister, you can't forget about him as well. They have been big factors in this one. Oh, there's another challenge. Ticey just was one bullet away from finding Teddy. That would have been a massive kill, because Teddy has been really the only positive light for this WILDCARD Ace team in the kill slaying department.
And, you know, having a player like Repus, who a lot of the time is going to be that entry player that opens up the rounds, being shut down, but on top of that, losing Kronk, so much useful utility. And aside from the can openers on Teddy, you're not going to have, Dame also has can openers, but, you know, it's just going to be not only wasting so much time, but those hatches are going to be so difficult to be opened with that Cade. It's just another kill. Not only another kill, but losing all of that utility early on. This early game for WILDCARD on the attack continues to be a problem.
Yeah, the K2 Barrel should be able to keep things locked now that the Maverick is out of the picture. And look at the health pools of these players. Repus and Teddy, they're on low legs, but Ticey's going to get found out. Zach's but just right behind him. He's going to find a kill on the Repus, and I think Repus is like, yeah, you know, I'm back in. Maybe I can get some momentum going, but immediately traded out. Kronk's going to leave the game as well. I mean, we've seen Teddy, we've seen Repus, we've seen Kronk leave for this WILDCARD Aces team. Meister! The C4 from below, and this health pool is dire right now. 2 HP, 15 HP. And Meister, it takes every opportunity to get into chat once he gets it.
Not only is it a 2v4, with no map control, no intel, you have a player with a total of 17 health with the 2 secondary EMP charges on Kronk. What they're trying to do right now is just set themselves up for success. Try to find an avenue into the site, but this bandit trick could almost be huge.
Yeah, Q has a little bit of hot hands. He was unable to get that last wall. A lot of pressure coming in from WILDCARD Aces on that bandit, and they're going to get it open, and they're trying to wreak some havoc. They also got this OSHA shield, so they really just have a complete setup onto that wall. So at any point, they can try and chow. Icy on the Azami is in control of Garage. He is on top. Quaz making his way through construction. Oh, what an angle this is from Ticey. Able to see anybody that tries to push him. WILDCARD Aces, their attack is starting to come a little bit slow after they got that main wall open.
You know, this pair of Firemeister and Ticey is just such a great duo. They've been so big for 7-7-4 throughout this entire clubhouse. Just not only opening the rounds on the side of Ticey, but also Firemeister, when they are in a deficit, when they don't have an opening, he finds an opening. And they need to find an opening, or rather deny an opening for WILDCARD Aces. They have this wall open. They're looking to potentially clear out Ticey in this Raptors position, but for now, they simply don't have the players in the right position. But with Repus and Ozone, they should potentially try to push these 2 Raptors players out.
Kronk is going to get opening blood. Is that going to be what gives WILDCARD Aces life to get back into this one? One of those Osa shields went down. Can you get the final one? Reapus, 2-10. Does he have the mentality to come back into this one and be the difference maker late into this? Ozone swings, gets the kill. And Wildcard Aces, we've been gassing their attack up all night long. And now we're starting to see a little bit of that prowess on the front foot here. But Kronk's going to be on the floor. Teddy also dropped. So just as I say that, 774, yes, they're still down in the live count, but they're getting a little bit back into this one. Here comes a res from Reapus onto Kronk. Nobody able to contest it for 774. Look at the time, though. 10 seconds left. Dame, start to plant that diffuser. Can anyone deny it from 774? They don't have C4s. The swing is going to drop from Coco. Was trying to make something happen, but Dame shuts it down. Gets the defuse, gets the kill. And it's now 6-5. Wildcard Aces. They're slowly bringing this one back.
We're going to go to a little bit of rehash. It's going to give us an opportunity to talk over what we have seen. We're not going to pause, so we're going to get a little bit of time to talk about this map so far and what is going to be potentially our last round of this matchup. I talked about how everything was absolutely failing in the early round for Wildcard Aces, but this time around, they finally found their footing, found that formula of success, found a way to shut down these early players. But to be fair, it's on one of these sites where you can get away with directly attacking it, not exactly rushing, but util dumping, and not really having to focus on clearing other parts of the map. So the question now is, will Wildcard Aces be able to attack, get that early game down, clear out those roamers, get that map control, and not only that, but continue to have that utility, that drone economy, to put themselves in a good position leading into that execution onto the bomb site?
And it was a good strategy from Wildcard Aces on that one. They were able to get around that bandit trick, get the Osa shields up, and that main plat was all theirs. Anybody that tried to get in towards server for 774, it was kind of a death trap, and that made this little cutoff from those that were on the rafters and then those guys that were in cash. So honestly, it kind of became two different separate teams for 774, and eventually Wildcard Aces is kind of able to anaconda squeeze. But folks, we're going to be heading to break here. 774 on top, but just barely. Can Wildcard Aces send us to overtime? Find out after this.
Put you in the driver's seat. Don't gotta hurry in and give love. When you ride with me, don't gotta worry when tomorrow comes. Put you in the driver's seat. Don't gotta hurry now, 'cause we stay in control in the name of love.
Well, folks, I believe we've got everything sorted out. I say that, and I probably just cast or cursed it, but we are back, and if you are just joining us, we are on match point here in our best of one. 774 have snuck themselves into this. There has been plenty of controversy and crazy plays. We have seen some Boss G type moments, but right now it's a slim lead for 774. Wildcard Aces, they've been slowly bringing this one back, Goose.
Yeah, they finally finding their stride on that last bomb site that we just saw not too long ago over by Cash and CC, but this time around, they're going to have to deal with clearing that map. On sites that are not Cash and CC, Wildcard Aces have had a problem in the early round, whether it be getting that opening pick or just converting the opening pick into more picks, map control, and eventually going into the actual execution. 774 has done a great job of just dwindling down their attacking utility, their drone economy, so when they do hit the site, all they really have is their positioning and their guns, which at times is not the best.
And what a flip this is. A dominant win on the same map again. Maybe not dominant, but a convincing win against Aerial Rise yesterday. And now 774 is upsetting the castle, upsetting the established order. And they are one round away on the defense. Gonna be going to Cash. Once again, the operators, they look pretty normal, nothing too crazy. How is Coco's bandit tricking gonna work this time around? Whoa, early kill here. Reapus falls. Zach retreats to the basement. And it is Canada on top, and that doesn't really work. Who was that? That was Ozone. He just threw it right into a battery.
Wow, and another one gone. Everything just absolutely falling short. And if you look at that thermite repelling, they've given up. They're not even going to try to attempt to take this CC position for at least now. They're going to simply address their focus over to that jacuzzi wall. With the bandit gun, it's going to be free to open for Dame. But aside from getting that wall open, Wildcard Aces have nothing. They don't have a way into the map. They don't have any picks, and they don't even really have any intel on how to get into the map. Wildcard Aces right now are really just grasping at straws.
Firemeister now kind of panic moves over towards Jim. Oh, your fingernails were seen. Ozone. Oh, that sucks so much. Firemeister got massively panicked. His zombie barriers were not working. He just runs right in the gym, and he gets his wrist spotted out. Teddy has 1 HP. Was trying to take this fight over towards the window. He actually didn't get stunned. Ozone down. Teddy is still on that low HP. Zach's also down to low HP. Oh! On for the ace is Q. Coco's gonna get a kill, but this is 774. And it's their win. They lost yesterday to Unk. They bounce back here to keep their hopes alive to get into the last chance qualifiers. And it was a toe-to-toe matchup when you go to a map like this. Both of these teams played there yesterday. 774 lost on Clubhouse yesterday. Wildcard won yesterday. It's a flip of the script. It's XGS, baby. You don't know what the heck's going to happen here.
I talked about it. Clubhouse in itself is just a playground for upsets. Wildcard upsetting Aerial Arise on the exact same map, and now they themselves have also been upset. And it's a trend that I've seen with this core of this Wildcard Aces team. As soon as they find success, as soon as they even perhaps maybe upset a team like they did yesterday, they fall short, and then matches either right next after it or a couple after. They can't really find that consistency, whether it be in phase 2 of Element 3 or the second game of XGS. The consistency will continue to be a problem for them. And 774, they've found that map win, and they have prevented Wildcard Aces from going up 2-0 in groups.
Folks, we're going to be heading to what is a bit of a doubleheader here. We're going to be seeing Chalk It twice on your screen, so that should be pretty interesting here. These guys going back to back. Don't go anywhere. There's still plenty of action here tonight. It's only the beginning of XGS Season 7. We'll be right back after this break.
Or there we go.